Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
It's interesting to see LVMH has been overtaken by Hermes as the world's most valuable luxury company. So tell us more about what the markets are saying about the sector.
Yes, I'm going to call it a bit of a bloodbath in the luxury space, not necessarily because of the size of the news, but how widespread the declines are in luxury today. So any company exposed to luxury in Europe is lower this morning. LVMH itself down 8%, a really weak report coming out of them after the close of trading on Monday night. Now, Goldman Sachs saying that they now reckon LVMH's sales will decline 5% this year. They did think the sales would rise around 2%, so immediately adjusting that. Weakness across leather goods, across drinks, across jewellery, across cosmetics, so everything being hit. And the peers, Burberry, Kering, Hermès, even though, as Lizzie mentioned there, that is now a bigger company on a market cap perspective, that is actually lower. The drinks makers, Pernod, Diageo, and then in cosmetics, L'Oreal, and in the watches, Watches of Switzerland, the Rolex dealer, all of those stocks dropping today, adding to the declines that we've already seen this year as Chinese weakness accelerates and also the US starts to weaken even further given these tariff worries.
Yeah, LVMH disappointing in terms of both US and Chinese sales. So that was the worry, basically, that the luxury name was being hit on both sides of the world.
I think you see the potentially the impact of people's maybe stock market portfolios coming into how they're thinking about purchases on the luxury side as well. That was the initial thing that analysts were looking for, and that does seem to be in the report slightly.
Yeah, well, I suppose if you buy very expensive luxury goods, you might also be someone who owns stocks and shares and has investments. Listen, let's think about autos and car parts. This possible temporary reprieve floated by President Trump, how's that going down with investors?
So this one looking much stronger in terms of the sectors. So we saw Stellantis jumping at around 5% over in Italy. The stock was also up in the US where it's listed as well. And then the German companies as well, Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, all of them rising. And even the parts makers as well. So Michelin, Baleo, Continental, pretty much green across the autos today as Trump, as you say, touts this potential reprieve. Though, as usual from Trump, there's not too many details on what that might actually look like. But the market taking it as an indicator that there could potentially be a bit of a relief, given the sector is facing 25% tariffs on goods imported into the US as it stands.
Now, Joe, here's what I really want to ask you. OK, so Trump has signalled that there could be a probe into drugs and chips and maybe more tariffs to come, but lots of the chip names doing pretty well here in Europe this morning.
Yeah, so that was one, when I got to my desk, I was reading that story and I wasn't really seeing a reaction in the Asia names or on the early indications from the market makers that were sending me. They weren't actually that interested in this story. I guess it's still quite uncertain on whether there will be tariffs on chips, also pharma as well. We know those stocks did sell off, but there is a bit of a deal in the chip space. Now, BE Semi, one of the largest makers of chip machinery, so companies that actually make the machines that then make chips and are sold into iPhones, laptops, that kind of thing. Getting an investment from Applied Materials in the US, one of the biggest heavyweight US companies, taking a 9% stake in Dutch-listed BE Semi, and that is actually the best performing stock across the European market today. We're currently up around 8% on BE Semi, outperforming, so positivity in the semiconductor space and potentially ignoring the latest tariff concerns for now.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.